Welcome to the Leader's Mic, where bold voices shape better leadership. I'm your host, Letitia. If you're hungry to grow, lead with purpose, and level up your impact, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button because every week I'm bringing you real talk, practical insights, and the leadership boost you didn't know you needed. Let's get into it. If you've been following along this season, you know we've been digging deep into feedback, how to ask for it, how to give it, and how to use it as a real tool for growth. Last week, we explored Behavioral Finance 101, and I talked with Debbie Slaughter about making smarter financial choices after your review. And that was a fantastic conversation. If you did not hear it, go back to it. But today, we're focusing on what might be the most overlooked step in the whole feedback process. What happens after the review? Because once the conversation ends, that's when the real work begins. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with a simple framework to turn feedback into clear, actionable steps, create measurable goals that actually stick, and follow through with confidence and consistency. So, if you've ever looked at your performance notes and thought, okay, now what? This episode is for you. Every year around review season, I see the same thing happen. People walk out of their performance reviews feeling motivated and they have the feedback, they have the fresh ideas, they have the clear list of things that they want to improve. And for the first week or two, the energy is there. They're journaling, they're setting reminders, and they're talking to mentors. They're actually trying to make changes. But then 60 days go by, and when the emails start to pile up, the pace picks up, and those actions start to quietly fade into the background, it's not a motivation problem. At this point, it's a mapping problem because most of us we're never taught how to move from feedback to follow through. We get told what to fix, but not how to make it stick. So today, we're going to change that because once you know the how, your feedback becomes fuel. And that mapping problem I mentioned, that's where so many professionals and leaders get stuck. It's not that we don't want to grow, it's that we're missing the bridge between the feedback we receive and the actions we take. Most of us don't struggle with receiving feedback, we struggle with applying it. So let's talk about why that happens. Number one, feedback can be an emotional overload. It can sometimes hit our ego before it hit our understanding. And even when it's meant to help, it can sting. I have been in so many feedback conversations where the individual heard what needed to improve and then immediately internalized it as something negative and then couldn't get past that into the action items in order to actually improve. And that's where you get stuck. Another issue of why this happens is a lack of clarity. When we receive vague feedback, like communicate better or show more leadership presence, but no one explains what that actually looks like in daily practice, then what's next? What do we do? Number three, feedback can be overwhelming. We walk away with a list of 10 things to improve and try to fix them all at once. So we end up fixing nothing. So here's a reflection question for you. When you get feedback, do you spend more time defending it or defining what to do with it? Take a second to think about that. That one mindset shift can change how you approach every review moving forward. And hey, if this conversation is already speaking to you, go ahead and follow or subscribe to the Leader's Mic right now. Hit that subscribe button because each episode this season builds on the last. It's giving you practical tools to help you lead stronger, communicate clearer, and grow with confidence. So hit that follow button and make sure you don't miss what's next. All right, let's get practical because feedback without follow through, that's just noise. Let's turn that noise into direction. When it comes to turning feedback into results, I like to use a simple framework called the 3A framework: assess, align, and act. It's a model that has been used in leadership development and communication coaching, but I've found that it works beautifully when it comes to feedback follow through. Step 1, assess. That is identifying the core theme. So, what you want to do, you want to take a step back from all the individual comments and actually look at the patterns that are developing. So, if someone says to you, "Hey, you seem distracted," or a different person says, "Your reports lack detail," and another person says that you miss deadlines, that might not be three separate problems. It could actually be a problem of or a pattern of a lack of focus or a lack of organization. So when you understand the pattern, you stop taking feedback personally and start looking at it as data. So try categorizing your feedback into three buckets: communication, collaboration, and consistency. Once you do that, clarity starts to form. Step 2, align. That's connecting feedback to your goals. Don't treat feedback like a to do list, treat it like a roadmap. Ask yourself these questions: how does this feedback connect to where I want to go? And what does improving this skill unlock for me next year? Let's say your manager says you need to speak up in more meetings. Is your long term goal to lead projects or manage teams? That skill directly ties to visibility and influence. That's what alignment looks like. The best leaders don't chase every piece of feedback, they align it with their direction. Step 3, this is turning feedback into micro goals. This is where it gets real because you're turning feedback into specific small actions you can track weekly. For example, if you're given the feedback you interrupt in meetings, your action could be to pause for 3 seconds in the meeting before responding. Another example, let's say you're given the feedback of you need to build stronger relationships. So, an action you could take is checking in with one colleague each week. When you do that, you start stacking small wins, and small wins create a lasting change. So, let me give you a quick example. One of my colleagues used to avoid speaking up in meetings. And so her micro goal was to ask one question per meeting. About 3 months after doing this, she was leading a portion of the agenda. And that's where consistent follow through, like really start to see it. That's where you see the change. Start with micro goals. And here's your bonus tip: do a 30-day check in. Just do a 30-day check-in, schedule it. Don't wait until the next year come around and it's time for evaluation season again. What I want you to do is go ahead and put that 30-day check-in on that schedule and say, this is what I've been working on. This is the feedback you gave me. Here's what I've tried. What have you noticed? Because once you do that, I can see that you show initiative and accountability and maturity. You're not waiting for evaluation season to show growth, you're demonstrating it. And that's how leaders turn feedback into leadership currency. So let's do it. Here's your mic'd up moment. Feedback means nothing if it doesn't turn into follow through. The real growth happens between the review and then the results. Don't just collect feedback, convert it because feedback is potential, but follow through is power. So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to pick a piece of feedback, just one, and walk it through the 3A framework. Assess it, align it, then act on it. And then what I want you to do is share your progress with me on LinkedIn or on Instagram at the Leaders Mic because I want to hear from you what you're working on and celebrate those small wins with you. And if this episode gave you new perspective, share it with a colleague who's also in their growth season. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep leading. You're listening to the Leaders Mic, where bold voices shape better leadership.